So women are also more likely to look out and seek financial education. I think we know that because we haven't participated in businesses, wealth building, various things like that, that, hey, I've never done it. I don't know anybody that's ever done it. Let me go educate myself. Let me learn how to do it because I'm going to do it. So women are more likely to seek education than men. Men tend to not look for education and financial literacy. They tend to ask their dad, ask their grandpa, ask their buddies. It's just a different approach. I know when I did Dave Ramsey twice, both times I registered for Financial Peace and brought my husband along with me. And you might say, why did you do it twice? Did it not take the first time? No, it actually did take the first time. So the first time we took it was when we were younger in our marriage. It prevented me and my husband from doing the stupid stuff. We didn't get into the credit card debt. We didn't do a lot of the stupid purchases. We didn't buy the new cars. So we actually, having gone through Financial Peace, we went in not from a spot of desperation. We went in from a spot of we want to learn. And we learned what the roadblocks were, and we learned how to avoid them. And so we never got into the bad financial place. Now, we did end up, having trouble with finances just because we didn't bring in as much as we were spending at one point, but that was not due to credit card debt or things like that. That was a whole nother thing that we can talk about later. The second time I went through Financial Peace, so I had a job where someone thought I was starting my own company, and my own company was going to be in competition with the company that I was working at. It was absolutely not true. I don't know who started the rumor. I don't know where it came from. It was not true. But I started getting a lot of phone calls. Hey, I heard you're starting your own company. I think that's great. I think you should do that. I think you'll be great. Yeah, once you get it going, let me know and I'll support you. I'll give you some work. And I got so many of those positive phone calls that it kind of planted a seed that, hey, so many people think I can do it. Maybe I should. Maybe I can. Maybe I should. And so I went through Financial Peace the second time so that I could make sure that I understood all the techniques so that I could put myself in a position to where in the future, if I decided to open a company, I could. And that's exactly what I did. Again, we didn't have credit card debt, but I paid everything else off that I could except the house. I started saving and squirreling away cash as much as I could. I had the 6-month emergency fund that would cover all our bills for 6 months. But I knew if I was going to start my own business, I might not make an income for 3 years, which I really didn't. And so instead of just stopping at 6 months, I just kept piling cash back. When I finally got to the point that I was ready to start my business, I went to the Women's Business Center, which I highly recommend women, if you're thinking about starting a small business, go to your local small business. Women's Business Center is free. These people are phenomenal. First thing they're going to tell you is put a business plan together. You're going to put it together. You're going to sit down with them. You're going to review it. They're going to help you with your business plan. Once that's done, then they're going to help you with whatever else you need. I went down the path of financing. Do I think my company's going to be successful? Yes. Going back to women are risk averse, I wasn't willing to put every asset, and when I say every asset that was in my name was going to go every asset was going to be part of the lien of the loan. So if I wasn't successful with my business and had to shut it down and go bankrupt to go out of business for any reason, every asset I owned was going to be seized as part of this loan. And I wasn't willing to do that at all. I wasn't willing to sign away all of that, especially since I had a stockpile of cash. And I'm like, you know what? I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of your help, all the education I received along the way. I'm going to bootstrap. I'm going to self-fund my company. And that's exactly what I did. And I did it because I was able to, because I had taken Financial Peace twice. I started out from a position where I wasn't in credit card debt. I had already been taking the steps. I didn't have commercial debt. I had squirreled away immense sums of cash. Looking back, one of the mistakes I made is as I was saving all this cash, I was just putting it in a regular savings account at the bank. Today, if I were to do it again, I would put it in a high yield, high interest savings account, let that money work for me while it's sitting there, let it grow a little bit. But, again, that goes back to, as we learn, as we know better, we do better. And that's the thing. As you know better, you do better. So I appreciate you being here, because I think that you're reaching out so you can have that financial education. You can have some financial literacy. You can learn about money, learn about how women can take control of their money and their budget, and they can have financial independence. Let's talk about emotional responses to financial setbacks. So when there's a financial setback, whatever it is, the market crashed, one of the mini bubbles, there was the dot-com bubble, there was the housing bubble, and all this has happened within my lifetime. When something happens financially and there's a financial setback, emotionally as a woman, I internalized it, and I felt I had made a poor decision, that I had not educated myself well enough, that I had not done the things that I needed to do to put myself in a better position, that if I had only educated myself, if I'd only known better, then I would have made better decisions and I could have avoided it. Well, that's stupid. You can't avoid it. I mean, housing bubble happened. It affected hundreds of thousands of people, not just me, a lot of people, and so as a female, when we do have a financial setback and something happens, just realize that, hey, this isn't just affecting you. This isn't just your problem. Unfortunately, our economy in the U.S. has not been consistently strong. We've had several of these dips. I think we're going to have another. I can't tell you when, I can't tell you why and how much, but I do believe that we're in a position where I just don't feel comfortable with the Fed. And I don't remember the exact quote, but Ben Bernanke used to be the Fed chair. And Ben Bernanke is a South Carolina boy. And he had said one time, when it came to inflation and interest rates, that the Fed was basically driving a car without a steering wheel, with a blindfold on, and not knowing what's the difference between the brake pedal and the gas pedal. Basically, the Fed has no clue what they're doing when it comes to interest rates and inflation. And I believe that. I do. I believe that. I think we have some brilliant, smart economists in the US. I think they do the best they can, but they don't know everything, and markets are so volatile that I don't think they can confidently predict the outcome of some of the decisions they make. And I don't think we're out of the woods with another economic downturn in the US. I hope and pray we are. I pray for the Fed people all the time. The new chairman, I pray for him to make good, solid decisions. But at the end of the day, people are people. We do the best we can with the knowledge we have, and then we try to deal with the outcome from that. But we can't control the future. And finally, let's talk about perception of wealth and success. So what does it look like from a female perspective to be successful? What is wealth? What is success? Ask yourself, what do you think success is? What do you think wealth is when it comes to money? Is it stability? Is it having 3 to 6 months of emergency savings? Is it having 9 to 12 months? Is it having a fully funded retirement to where you're not going to outlive your money? Is it knowing that your children are going to be taken care of, that your children's college is covered? Is it beyond that? Is it wanting to leave a legacy? That's more of a male perspective. I hadn't had a female yet tell me they want to leave a legacy. But I think that's something we should consider. Men look at leaving a legacy. They want to attain and build enough wealth in their empire that they can financially make a positive impact for not just themselves and their kids, but their kids' kids. And I've heard it, as I was preparing before I started this YouTube channel, Women for Wealth, I was watching other YouTubers talk about finances and wealth and prosperity. And they were all men except for one. There was one female. I think she, in my opinion, was a little light. She talked more about her personal experiences, which I think is good because you do relate when people talk about themselves and give examples. It makes it relatable. But the men really dig into it. The men Specifically, though, there's one guy and he talks about leaving a legacy for not yourself, not your kids, but your kids' kids. That's how far he wants his money to stretch and positively impact the financial health of his family, his grandchildren. And I think that's something that women can do too. I think we, with some education and some support and some knowledge, I think we can, have a plan, budget, tell our money where to go, invest wisely, start small businesses, start empires. I tell people that once you start one business, it's almost like an addiction. I started Select Power Systems 7 years ago. I started Select Renewable Systems 2.5 years ago. I started Sustainable Fuel Tech in December, just a couple months ago. So once you start a business, you it kind of almost becomes like an addiction. It's hard, but it's so rewarding, and it's something that you feel proud of, and it's something at the end of the day you're like, yeah, I built that. I did that. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody. I'll say that again. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. If it is for you, if you have that itch, I think it's a great way to go. Put it in the comments below. We'll talk about it. I'll talk about how I've done it 3 times. I'll talk about, again, some of the roadblocks. How can I help educate, inspire, and empower you to become wealthy? And if your path is entrepreneurship and it is to build an empire, then I want to help you do that. If your path is more, I want to get into rentals, I'll be honest, I'm not an expert there, but I can bring experts on that can talk to you, that can walk you through the process, that can give you some recommendations on what to do. Also talk about what not to do, some of the, valleys and some of the gotchas within that process. I can talk about the gotchas. I can talk about some of the problems. I can talk about the stress, the headache, the anxiety. There's a reason why I sold all of my rentals and I don't do rentals, but I do understand that it is a vehicle for some people to become wealthy. So you just have to figure out how you want to get there, what your path is, what your plan is. Then once you figure it out, it's just writing it down and executing. It's not hard from that point. But just know that me and the Women for Wealth community is here to help you and support you. So you're not alone in your journey. We're here. There's some of us that's been there, done that. There's others of us that are looking forward to trying it. There's some of us who are experts that can give you advice and really help you out in your path. We are a wide, wide, wide community. There are a lot of women now that do want wealth. There are a lot of women that want to take care of themselves and have financial independence for themselves and their kids. If you have a husband, that's great. I have a husband. We've been married 26 years. I do know that there is a statistic that says married people have more in retirement than singles and individuals. Not to say they're more successful, not to say they have enough, but there is that stat that say married women who have a husband to help them where they have 2 incomes, that they're better off in retirement than a woman that never got married. I don't know. My path was marriage because that's what I chose. I believe that both paths can be successful and bring you to whatever end you choose. That's the hardest part, is deciding where you want to be. The hardest part is deciding how much you want in your retirement, what lifestyle you want to have, what lifestyle you want your family to have. Do you want to leave a legacy to your grandkids? Make those decisions for yourself. Once you make the decisions, putting a plan in place and executing is not difficult. Deciding what you want is your biggest challenge. So I challenge you. I tell people, go to your Wonder Dome. The Wonder Dome is Wonder Woman's equivalent of Batman's Batcave. Go to your Wonder Dome, isolate yourself, think about it. And then once you know what you want, then let's work together. Let's put a plan in place, something that you can execute so that you can achieve your dreams.